Another woman coming out with allegations against Bill Cosby. I guess another white guy is gonna be jammed up in the news soon. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, 1987. Learn lessons about life and teenage love in the 1980s in this coming-of-age John Haynes story. Get your copy of John Haynes 1987 in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Another woman has decided to file a civil lawsuit against Bill Cosby. Now, this woman, singer Morganne Picard, is making an allegation that Bill Cosby allegedly sexually violated her in a period between 1987 and 1990 when they had a business relationship. Now, according to reports, Morganne Picard alleges when she met Bill Cosby on the set of The Cosby Show in 1987, he said he was going to help her with her music career. And as they were having conversations, she alleges that he insisted and encouraged her to drink beverages that made her extremely intoxicated on multiple occasions between then and 1990. And Morganne Picard, according to reports, allegedly says that she was blacked out after drinking a beverage with Mr. Cosby at his home, and later woke up naked with soreness in her genitals inside of a hotel room. And it was after this that she alleges that Mr. Cosby allegedly, after giving her this drink, undressed her and sexually violated her. And this is what she alleges in her lawsuit, where she's filing not only a lawsuit against Mr. Cosby, but is also filing a lawsuit against Kaufman Astoria Studios LP, the second, the Carsey Warner Company, the production company that produced The Cosby Show, and NBC Universal. Now, I find it interesting that this woman, Morganne Picard, is coming out with these allegations years after 60 women came out with similar allegations against Mr. Cosby. And I find it interesting that she's going to wait until after the conviction of Mr. Cosby was overturned as related to a previous case brought by a overzealous prosecutor, Kevin Steele, as related to alleged victim Andrea Constan. I find it interesting that this woman waited all this time after all of the fervor as related to the previous Cosby allegations to come out and make this allegation against Mr. Cosby and make this lawsuit not only against Mr. Cosby, but also against NBC, the Carsey Warner Company, and the studio where The Cosby Show was filmed. I mean, this feels like a bit of overkill as related to these lawsuits, which basically seem to me sounding like an opportunity as related to a capitalizing on the Adult Survivors Act, a law that was put into place where a woman has a year to go out here and sue sue people as related to alleged sex crimes, regardless of the statute of limitations. Now, this law is supposed to end in Thanksgiving of 2024, but I doubt that this law will even be enforceable because it violates the Constitution, which says that a person has due process under the law. They have a right to a speedy trial, and to try a person for a crime without giving them time to have their day in court just runs counter to the U.S. Constitution, but it doesn't run counter to white supremacy, which wants to go out here and try to destroy the wealth of men like Bill Cosby. And that's where I see this whole case basically falling apart, because as this woman has gone out here and made this allegation, not only against Mr. Cosby, I believe she overreached by looking to go out here and sue NBC and sue all of these other entities like the Carsey Warner Company and the studio. I believe that this woman basically has overreached and will lead to her case being dismissed because she cannot really prove that these incidents took place on these properties, and she cannot go out here and sue NBC for any sort of liability, because in order to do that, she would have to go out here and prove that a crime was committed on these locations. And in order to do that, she would need to file police reports. And that's where the whole case against Bill Cosby, as related to this woman's civil lawsuit, falls completely apart, because this woman has not gone out here and filed a criminal case. And because she didn't file a criminal case, that's where I believe her whole case falls apart. Like many of the other women who have made allegations against Mr. Cosby, many of these women, they make allegations against Mr. Cosby, trying to make the allegation that, oh, Bill Cosby was a big star with great influence, when anyone who knows the entertainment industry like I do knows that Bill Cosby was not a big-time player in entertainment. Yes, he was somebody who was popular as related to black entertainment, but he did not have any of the influence that Harvey Weinstein had, where he basically had the number of the DA in his Rolodex and knew the DA by name, or a guy like Les Moonves who knew police captains who could go out here and suppress cases as related to sex crimes. No, any woman could have easily gone after Bill Cosby from 1987 to 1990, even though The Cosby Show was popular, because Desiree Washington at the time was easily able to go out here and get charges put on Mike Tyson, who was more popular than Bill Cosby at the time. Mike Tyson was the heavyweight champion of the world, and Desiree Washington was able to convince a prosecutor to go out here and file criminal charges against Mike Tyson. And I would like to think a singer like Morganne Picard would easily be able to go out here and get criminal charges filed against Bill Cosby, and the mainstream media would have eagerly gone out here and covered that story the same way they would have covered the story as related to Mike Tyson and the alleged sex crime that he was alleged to have been charged with as related to Desiree Washington. And that's where the argument also falls apart for Morganne Picard, who is basically trying to take the same story that many women have tried to use as related to Bill Cosby, and look to try to use the story as related to Bill Cosby in an effort, as I see it, to get a payday at his expense. That's what this woman is, as I see it, looking to do, looking to try to capitalize on these new laws that are about, allegedly allowing people to file these sort of civil lawsuits as related to these kinds of cases. And this Adult Survivors Act, I believe, is just another opportunity to try to go after black men, because I find it interesting that the only people they're going after as related to these so-called Adult Survivors Acts are just heterosexual black men like Bill Cosby. I don't hear any women going out here and going after institutions like the Catholic Church. I don't see them going after prominent white men as like Les Moonves, who have been alleged to have participated in numerous crimes. I don't even see women going out here and filing lawsuits against Harvey Weinstein. I mean, you have Rose McGowan, who led the Me Too movement, but I don't see Rose McGowan or any of those women who were a part of the Me Too movement looking to file civil lawsuits against Harvey Weinstein or any other white man. And that's what makes me look at these laws and see them as basically being racist ploys in order to try to strip wealth from black men like Bill Cosby. And I look at these laws as basically being an effort to try to not only take away the wealth of black men like Bill Cosby through frivolous lawsuits, I also see them as a way to undermine our Constitution. Because when these women go out here and file these kinds of lawsuits, it basically undermines many of our constitutional rights, because if a person has an issue with another person as related to crimes, they are supposed to go through the police department. They're supposed to file a police report. They're supposed to go out here and allow this person to have their day in court, where they can go out here and be tried by a jury of their peers, because under our United States Constitution, a person is innocent until proven guilty. But what is being done with these so-called Adult Survivors Acts is a way to try to circumvent our U.S. Constitution and look to circumvent our U.S. Constitution and try to reestablish the standard of trust and belief, a standard that basically is one that is dangerous because a standard of trust and belief is based on the emotions of a woman and not the logic of a man and the logic of rule of law. Because under our Constitution, again, a person is innocent until proven guilty, and a person, if you have allegations of a criminal act, you need to go to law enforcement and file a report with the police, and that report needs to be something that's filed because this shows that there is some truth to the allegation. And again, under our Constitution, a person has a right to a speedy trial, and again, they have a right to have that case heard when it's supposed to be heard, not when after the statute of limitations runs out and people rewrite the laws because they're white and they say so. Because that's what's happening here as related to this latest civil lawsuit against Bill Cosby. It's another attempt to try to circumvent our Constitution so that people who are racist want to be able to get even with Bill Cosby for going out here and being a successful black man who has some wealth. This is all about trying to take away a black man's wealth through the courts and looking to go out here and tarnish his reputation and his legacy so that he won't go out here and present a legacy that others can be inspired by, like I was when I started writing the books that are a part of the SJS Direct imprint. They don't want people being inspired by Mr. Cosby, so what they're looking to do is try to tarnish the name of Bill Cosby, and it looks like to me that this is working just like clockwork one mo again. And I say it's working like clockwork one mo again because possibly some white dude or some other minority dude is out here and done some dirt. And every time one of these white guys or one of these minority guys gets caught up in some sort of sex scandal, the first guy they bring out to try to push a narrative on to deflect from their deviant sexual acts or their sex scandal is they try to go out here and trot out Bill Cosby to say, oh, this guy isn't as bad as Bill Cosby, when in actuality, these guys are the ones who create the institution for all of the deviancy and the debauchery we see going on in Hollywood politics and big business. And because they want to deflect from the white guys, what they do is go out here and look to make accusations against Bill Cosby or their other favorite whipping boys, R. Kelly and Jonathan Majors. They always look to find their black whipping boys to make the bad guy of the story, and they look to make them the bad guy of the story to deflect from the white guys who are in the media more and more, like the Gilgo Beach murderer, like the sexual deviant who violated a lot of women in, I believe, New York and Massachusetts. They always look to deflect from those white guys by going out here and having somebody tell the same old story about Bill Cosby, stories that can't be substantiated with hard evidence, stories that can't be substantiated with facts, and stories that try the reputation of Bill Cosby in the court of public opinion and don't try them in a court of law, because any good detective would have gone out here and said, look, if you cannot go out here and give me some evidence, I'm not going to do an investigation into this guy because I need more than an allegation, and I cannot trust and believe a word you're saying without any sort of evidence to back it up, because without any sort of evidence to back it up, your story has no credibility whatsoever. And when I listen to many of the stories of these women, they don't really have credibility because, again, if this happened from 1987 to 1990, like this woman alleges, it would have been a big scandal had she taken it to the police. And it would have been a major scandal because, again, if the police could go out here and arrest Mike Tyson in 1990, they would easily have been able to arrest Bill Cosby as well as related to said crime. And again, Bill Cosby was not a prominent person like Les Moonves. No, Bill Cosby did not know police or prosecutors like that. He did not have them on speed dial the way Les Moonves allegedly did. No, when it came to Bill Cosby, he was just another working actor. And again, working actors are just nobody in the entertainment industry. So when I listen to this woman and I listen to her allegations, it looks like another case of the casting couch. And again, a lot of women, what they do when they get older is they want to rewrite the story of them being on the casting couch in order to make themselves out to be a victim. And they want to make themselves out to be a victim so people won't know what type of ratchet stuff they were doing. Because as somebody, again, who's been in the entertainment industry and studied the entertainment industry for over 25 years, I can tell you that a lot of women will go out here and be dropping their skid mark jockey thongs and their skid mark Victoria's Secret draws with any celebrity if they believe that if giving this guy a taste of the atomic waste will allow them to move forward with their careers. So there's a lot of that going on, and what women will do is look to rewrite the story to make themselves out to be a victim, when in actuality they were just as complicit. And what they will do again is do this hoping, oh, this guy will go out here and help me out with my career. But in actuality, all these guys will do is they have no real connections. They can maybe possibly call an agent and arrange an audition or something like that. But they can't really go out here and get you jobs. No, they can put you in the lead for something. And what happens is these women get bitter because they didn't really get what they wanted. They thought, oh, this is going to be a fast track to stardom, when in actuality it was just you just getting played and pumped and dumped by a celebrity. And again, they want to rewrite these stories to make Bill Cosby the bad guy, when again there was complicitness from them, and they want to omit all of those details, because if a crime again had been committed, they would have been over at the prosecutor's office. But the reason why they're not at a prosecutor's office is because they're afraid of getting charged with perjury when they start looking at all of the evidence. Because when I listen to the details of this story and I see no police involved, I listen to this story and again, it doesn't have the ring of truth, because for you to wait almost 33, 34 years later and come out with a story against Mr. Cosby, this really again shows me that your story is suspect. Because again, if Mike Tyson, as related to the charges against him by Desiree Washington, could be made in that same time period, then the same thing could have been done with Bill Cosby. And if 5 years later, O.J. Simpson could wind up getting charged with the murder of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman, then it shows you that these black men do not have the influence or prominence that many allege Bill Cosby had. No, Bill Cosby was 2 years away from the end of The Cosby Show. So when I listen to this woman's story, again, it's not adding up, but it's adding up to me like another plan to deflect from some other deviant scandal some white boy or some white dude has participated in, or some minority dude has participated in. And this whole case, again, is another effort to try to destroy the legacy of Bill Cosby, and everybody keeps trying to go after Bill Cosby, and that's what makes this whole case another one that just seems suspect to me. Now, if you want to pick up some of the positive black fiction I make on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about the entertainment industry, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS, Bride of Dracula, The Goddess Next Door, and John Haynes team up to take on the Dark Vampire in this action-packed ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, Bride of Dracula in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Coming to paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Cancel Vacation. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a social justice social media mob looking to cancel her in this all-new E-Steam series adventure. Pre-order E-Steam Cancel Vacation on Amazon.com today.